In Unit 3, Lesson 7, we are going to use our knowledge of unit rates to complete a ratio table. Teacher guided problem number 1. The price of burritos. 2 burritos cost $14. We're going to complete the table to show the cost for 4, 5, and 10 burritos at that rate. So when I'm completing an equivalent ratio, I like to pull out the numbers and write them as a fraction. Based on the information we know, we have 2 burritos cost $14. And we're going to make that equivalent to 4 burritos, and we're trying to figure out the amount of dollars. So this part of the table. Okay. When we are making an equivalent ratio, we are multiplying or dividing. In this set, we're going from 2 to 4, so we're multiplying by 2. 2 times 2 would give me 4. And we're going to repeat that here to our bottom. 14 times 2 will give me 28. Okay, to complete the next blank space in the table, I can use the ratio 2 to 14 or 4 to 28. I'm going to use 2 to 14 because it is smaller numbers. Okay, writing the units is also helpful here to keep this problem organized. So we are comparing burritos to dollars, and we know 2 burritos cost $14. And we want to use that information to help me find how much 5 will cost. Just like the first part of this, we are going to be multiplying. And to identify what I'm multiplying by, I'm actually going to divide. Okay, 5 is not a multiple of 2, so I'm not multiplying it by a whole number. If I, on my calculator, take 5, divide it by 2, that will tell me what I am multiplying by. And we can check that on our calculator. And if we do 2.5 times 2, we do get 5. And so then we're going to repeat that process with the 14, multiplying by the same number, 2.5 times 14, it's 35. And finally, we're going to repeat this process over again for 10 burritos. Again, you could use 4 over 28 or 5 over 35. Or we can stay with the original amount. 2 over 14 is equivalent to 10 over what number? Again, I'm going from 2 to 10, which is done by multiplying by 5. So 14 times 5 is 70. Okay, next on our table it says find the cost for a single burrito in each case. Okay, this is referring us to our unit price, which remember is how much for one. Unit price is dollars per burrito, so we're going to take the dollar amount from the table and divide it by the number of burritos. 14 divided by 2, check your answer on the calculator, is 7. 28 divided by 4, also 7. 35 is the cost, divided by the number we're buying, 5, will also be 7, and 70, the dollars, divided by the number we bought here, is also 7. What I'm noticing in my table is that the unit price does not change. Whenever you have an equivalent ratio, the unit rate will be the same for each. Let's use our unit rate in the next problem to complete another table. First, I'm going to fill in a 6 in this empty box because our unit rate has to be the same in all of these columns. Okay, so now we're going to use that unit rate the amount per 1. So I could write this as 6 over 1 for all of these. Okay, per is a way of showing a rate, 6 bracelets in 1 hour. And we use that to find out how many bracelets we are making. So I'm going to use my unit rate, writing it as a fraction, 6 over 1. And I'm going to make that equivalent to, now these two numbers here will make up a fraction. Okay, it will be helpful also here if I include a label. So bracelets is represented here in for 6, and hours is here. And so then when I'm writing my fraction for this rate, the time in hours is going to be on the bottom. And so we want 6 over 1 to equal something over 2. I know I'm multiplying 1 times 2 to get 2, so 6 times 2 will give me 12. Okay, I'm going to repeat that process again to find how many bracelets we can make in 5 hours. Again, it's helpful to include a label. So we have bracelets over hours. Our unit rate is still the same, so 6 bracelets in 1 hour. How many am I making in 5? Again, 1 times 5 would be 5, so 6 times 5 will be 30. When I go to answer this third empty box for 7 hours, instead of writing out the fractions, I notice a pattern. Okay, if I take my unit rate and multiply it by the number of hours, that's telling me how many bracelets. So I'm going to do 6 times 7, and I will find that's 42. Right. The next set of empty boxes, we are going to figure out the amount of time. So this will not be done by multiplying. Again, I'm going to set this up by writing my fraction. So my unit rate here is 6 over 1, where 6 is bracelets and 1 is hours. And I'm making that equivalent to if I had 66 bracelets. So now I'm looking to identify what I'm doing to my top number, not my bottom. 6 times 11 will give me 66. So 1 times 11 will give me 11. For the last one, where we have 100 bracelets, if I set this up as 2 equivalent fractions, I have 6 over 1 is equal to 100 over what number? A little bit more difficult because 100 is not a multiple of 6, like 66 was. So on my calculator, if I'm trying to figure out 6 times what will give me 100, I can actually do 100 divided by 6. And when we're talking decimals, remember we're only going 2 decimal places. So I am multiplying by 16.66, and so I'm going to get 16.66. Okay, so when we are identifying what we are doing, if you know your first column, like we knew hours, 2, 5, and 7, we're multiplying our unit rate. If you don't know your first column, like we have in these two problems, and we are using our second column, we are actually going to be dividing. So 66 divided by 6 or 100 divided by 6. Use these strategies to help you answer practice problems in Unit 3, Lesson 7.